Hi, this is Mike Jensen, and I'm here to show you how to set up your hard drives as well as how to set up your Lightroom and then import your files into Lightroom and organize them. So that's what this video is all about. So on the screen you can see that I've got a backup drive that I use for traveling around, and I'm going to use this. As you can see, I've got a number of files from 2019, one of my trips to Africa on it, and we're just going to collapse that, and we're going to right click here and create a new folder for 2020, and then I'm just going to leave it like that because Lightroom will do the rest. And so I'm going to get rid of that, and then you'll see the Lightroom interface. I have created a new catalog. You do that by clicking File, New Catalog, and it brings up a dialog box. You can name the catalog, and then you can tell it where you want it to be stored. So in this case, what I did was I said I want it to be stored on the same backup hard drive that I'm using to import these images in. So that's what this demo catalog is, and it's got all of the files in there for Lightroom. Okay, so we've got Lightroom here, and the first thing we're going to do when we get ready to import our images is to know where our images are going. And that's why I gave you the little demo about the hard drives. So I want to show you where the files are going to be going. That's probably one of the most important questions and one of the biggest sticking points that people have when they're working in Lightroom. So it's real honest. The files are going to go from your memory chip into this hard drive here. They're going to go into the 2020 folder, and they're going to go into a folder that I've got marked for these images. That's it. It's that simple. You should never plug your camera into your computer. You don't want to do that. You can plug your chip into the computer if it has a slot for that. You just need to make sure everything's grounded. You don't have any static electricity, something that could damage the memory chips. So let's get this thing plugged in. And I have not done anything to the this version of Lightroom since I created the new catalog. And as you can see, as soon as I plug in the chip, we've got images that are starting to come in, and they're just going to circulate through. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to this area that says Make Second Copy. This is how I back up my system. So I always have something that says Make a Second Copy to a certain hard drive. And this example is, I have a hard drive for 2020. It's right here, and this is where all of my images are for 2020 so far, and it's February 1st. So this is, the amount of shoots I've done so far this year in January. When I travel, I will unplug this hard drive and I will take it with me. It's very small. I think most of you guys have seen these small hard drives. They're pretty tiny, look like this, and it holds 2 terabytes. So it's a fair amount of data, and it should cover me for most of the year. So that's where these guys are going. That's where the backup is going. For this purpose, though, I'm going to uncheck it just because I don't need to back these guys up again. I've already done it once. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is go to Rename Files, and I'm going to click Edit. What comes up is a dialog box that allows me to build the new file name for these images. First thing I do is I put in my name, Mike Jensen Photography. These I'm going to call Kings Highway Birds here in Port Charlotte, Florida. This is where I photographed them. I have the date, the day, the year, and then the file name as it came out of the camera. So that's done. The next thing I can go down and do is I can add some keywords. So I can add something like Florida birds. These are a lot of roseates. I could add egrets, say January, they were photographed yesterday. Any other metadata that we might want to add. The next thing is huge. I'm going to add these to an area called Birds in the King's Highway. For purposes of this, I'm going to add these to the backup hard drive, which is where I showed you I was going to. So I'm going to click on that hard drive. I'm going to click on 2020, and right underneath here you can see that whatever I have in this subfolder is going to appear under that 2020. So I've already made a subfolder. Lightroom does that for you automatically. There's another option. You can put it in by original folders or by date. If I do original folders, it just defaults to the structure that it came off your chip. If I put it into date, it will default to the date. And I don't care for that. I really like having it into one folder that stays named, and then I can customize things after that. So the next thing I'm going to do is just click import, and what happens is that the files start to import. You will see in the upper left hand corner of your screen a progress bar, and you'll see these as they start to progress, and I will come back when that's done. It shouldn't take too long, and we'll get to the rest of it. Okay, our import is complete, and now we can take a look at the result, and I'm going to do that using Adobe Bridge. I use Adobe Bridge for a lot of different things, and here's all of my hard drives. Here's my backup that I showed you. And remember, here is the 2020 folder. It had nothing in it before, and now it's got something called Birds in the King's Highway Canal. If I double click on those, here's all my images. So they're there. Nothing happens to them. And I'll do another video down the road about the nature of the virtual image versus the real image in Lightroom. But I just wanted to let you know that the images off of this memory chip ended up going to this hard drive, and that's where they are. You can see that's where they are, and it's really easy to follow. They don't go anywhere funny unless you tell them to. So there's a little bit about importing, a little bit about keywording, a little bit about metadata, and here you can see the keywords in here that I placed. Also, another really cool thing is that you can set up default metadata in your Lightroom. Okay, so in the import module, there's a place that says apply during import, and there's a place for develop settings. You can apply certain presets or things like that. I don't know why you'd use this, because the idea is to edit your images individually, not as a whole. It's in there because some people use it, maybe large production people use it for maybe school photos or school team photos, things like that. However, there's a cool thing in here for metadata. So if you click on this and click New, here is a place where you can go in and create metadata that is automatically added to every image when you import in Lightroom. So you can go in here and place copyright information, photographer's name information. For example, here's mine, Mike Jensen Photography. I've got everything in here that I would want to have, and so that's a really good thing to have. It saves you a lot of time, and it embeds that into the file. So another cool feature about Lightroom that you'll want to know about. Okay, so if you're ever sure about where are my files, things like that, or maybe you download or import several different chips at the same time into the same folder, what's going to happen is that Lightroom defaults to the most recent download. So you actually have to see, go in here on the upper left where it says previous import. You actually have to go back and click all photographs to see all the photographs in that folder. And you can see all the folders up here on the left. Here's the backup hard drive. Here's the birds in the Kings Highway Canal. And there would be loads and loads of others in there as well. Okay, so there's a little bit about importing images and renaming them and the file structure in Lightroom. Again, this is real easy stuff. Here is the folder that we, or the hard drive that we used. Here is the 2020 folder. Here's the birds. Here's all the files. And you can see that the file name is intact. It's got the file name from the camera. It's got the additional things that I added. And it's a really great way of keeping track of your files. In Africa, what happens is that this was my backup. So it comes over as imported. And then you click on that and you can see, you know, here are all the files that I imported on that day for Africa. And again, I named them all the different places that we went. And you can see that they've got different names. So if I ever have to go do a search and I know where it was, I'm good to go. Okay, hope that helps. If you don't use Lightroom, my first question is, why not? But I'm also going to do another video on Adobe Bridge and show you how to do the import from Adobe Bridge. Okay, thanks for watching.